Hey everyone, it's Erica Holland, certified ballroom dance instructor and personal trainer. Here are my thoughts on last night's Dancing with the Stars. The theme was to honor Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Also, quick reminder, I will be teaching Latin dance cardio this Saturday with Project Alchemy at the studio at 620 in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hope to see you there. You can go to the link in my bio to see how you can register for the class. All right, first up, we have Dylan and Daniela with their jive. I really liked Daniela's choreography, especially the section with the troupe where they slowed it down a little bit. This wasn't his best dance. He was overthinking a lot. His arms were a little too crazy. And overall, he was really flat footed in the jive. You want to make sure that you point your feet once it comes off the ground. But overall, I thought he did okay. I agree with the 8 that was given. Next up, we have Alex and Val with their Paso Doble. I loved her Pamela Anderson look. I thought it looked very becoming on her. She did such a great job with this dance. She had beautiful extensions. I actually really enjoyed the moments of lightness and breath. With Paso Doble, even though it's a serious dance and a marching dance, I love that I could still see Alex's personality and what she does good in dance throughout the dance. I would say that she does need to watch her elbows a little bit. And I was a little bit confused with Flava Flav. He gave Dylan and Daniela a 10, but not Alex and Val a 10. So I'm just a little bit confused on that. But overall, I thought she did a beautiful job. All right. The fan favorite, Andy and Emma, they did a contemporary. I liked that they waited this late in the game to give him a contemporary because now he has, even though his body isn't showing it, I believe mentally he does have a good understanding of the fundamentals of dance. Um, One thing I would suggest to him is make sure he keeps his weight forward on the balls of his feet. And a comment that the judges gave Jen and Jan last week about the phrasing, sometimes he would hit a pose and then drop his energy. There needs to be more phrasing throughout the dance. But overall, I thought he did a good job on the lifts. His upper body was a little bit more expressive. Um, I mean, this was an okay dance. Flava Flav with that 9. I don't know where it came from, but this might be the best Andy will dance all season. So go ahead and give him the 9, even though I agree with the 7s. All right, next up we have Whitney and Mark with their Paso Doble. Mark is so creative. I love this introduction with the spider web. This was such a content rich Paso Doble. You saw all the recognizable steps. Those twist turns were amazing. Whitney showed such control and effortlessness. I do agree with Carrie Ann. There were some stumbles, but Whitney covered it up really well. They did also receive immunity. So even though her and Alex were tied for the top of the night, she has the highest scores overall this season. So she did win immunity for next week. Oh my goodness. Danielle and Pasha. Was this their best dance? No. But once again, did they deserve to go home? No, they didn't. First off, I just want to give kudos to Pasha. Pasha, if you know anything from the ballroom community, he is such a strict Latin guy and standard guy. So for him to dive into jazz and freestyle and contemporary and other styles, I love that he's grown into that. Danielle, I do agree with the judges. There was a little bit of overthinking. Better phrasing was needed, and she also needed to point her toes. So, once again, same thing with Dylan when your foot leaves the ground and needs to be pointed. But overall, I just love Danielle. I hate to see her go. I just, once again, another stumbling elimination that I can't believe. Up, we have Elaine and Alan with their Viennese waltz. I loved seeing Elaine back in the ballroom. She is such a classy, elegant, graceful dancer. I certainly missed her last week. And like Flava Flav said, she came to play. All right, her turns were better. Her frame was better. I loved them in shadow position. Once again, I agree with Flava Flav. She didn't dance like she was in pain. She danced so beautifully and gracefully, and I just love seeing her back. And I'm glad that she is safe for another week. All right, next up, Jordan and Ezra with their jazz routine. I love the wigs. I love the tricks. I love when gymnasts can show off what they can do. I thought she had great turns and she had a lot of personality. There was a little stumble when she was jumping up onto the judges table, but overall she had the charisma, the personality, and I really enjoyed Ezra's choreography. So good job to them. All right, last up in the solo round, we had Robert and Whitney with their Paso Doble. I'm going to be honest. I love Whitney's choreography. This was more on the lighting people. I had trouble focusing. There were so many flashing lights that I couldn't even keep track with my eyes of where they were going. I do agree with the judges, and I have said this about Robert before. He obviously has great abs, okay, but his core provides the connection. He has a strong core, but he's not using it in the right way. Your core connects your upper body and lower body. So when the judges were talking about that lack of connectivity between the two segments of your body, having that core can really help you. Once again, I think Robert over uses his core and over engages and over flexes his core muscles when he really should be making sure that his core is a pliable support system. But overall, I thought they did a good job. Robert is such an athlete. I saw that in the kip up, in the knee spin, and I love seeing his athleticism shine through in the dance. Once again, that's Whitney choreographing to her partner's strengths.